OMNIA Behavioral Assessments. Just what the heck is that? Let me tell you, I have been doing business with these guys for years. And I'm going to tell you what, I would not hire or promote any employee without a behavioral assessment, because there are professional interviewers out there. There are people that are good at one position but would not be suitable for the next position. Today, our guests are Tanya Devane and Heather Snyder. Hi, Tanya.
Hello, how is everyone? How are you?
I'm having the best day of my entire life.
Right? Sometimes I say I'm having such a good time, I'd get arrested if it was against the law.
Well, sometimes I'm doing things against the law, so I can't say that.
I'm not going to co-sign that one with you, Jim. I follow the letter of the law.
Absolutely. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There you
Okay.
go.
And Heather Snyder, how you doing?
I'm great. Every day I get up and I get to be with people, especially amazing people like you, Jim and Tanya. It's a great day.
Okay, well, let's talk about reimagine your talent strategies. Now, I've got a whole report on some research here on my other screen. I've been reading it, and lead into that and tell me about insights to navigate the fast evolving landscape of 2024. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it's exciting. And I just appreciate you having us here to talk about this and all the things that we do to help leaders with one of the biggest problems that's out there still today. And that's hiring the right people and then engaging them and developing them to their full potential so you can grow thriving, successful dealerships. And this is near and dear to my heart. When I joined OMNIA, we began a primary research study that we conduct annually. So we do this every year. We research and survey our clients and our prospects across the industry. It's grown year over year, and we ask the same questions every single year to measure longitudinally how are these things changing and evolving. And so we publish this report every February. It's the results of the survey, and then it's jam-packed with strategies for what you can do when we're falling short on some of these key human capital strategies.
Now, is this for HR departments? Is this for smaller companies that are individually making decisions? How is this designed?
Yeah, good question. So our niche is really small to mid-sized business. A quarter of our clients come from the automotive industry. So that's who we're really targeting. The neat thing is we do hear from across the organization because we work with the direct functional leaders when it comes to hiring and developing their staff, as well as HR. So it's pretty balanced from a functional representation in the results. And then most of the companies that respond are within the 20 to 50 range. And then we have a good bit of respondents with the within the 100 size.
Excuse me, car dealers. Pay attention.
Exactly.
Car dealers, why, if you have an HR department, are you not supplying them with the most modernistic tools that'll help you do a better job and a faster job? Does that make sense?
Why aren't you?
It makes perfect sense. I also like to say that don't abdicate it to HR either. Get the most helpful, modern, validated tools, and everybody should use them, because most times when an employee leaves, they leave because they didn't like their manager or they didn't feel like they fit with the culture. And both of those are more driven by the direct leader and supervisor than the HR department.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that exit a dealership didn't like the manager or didn't fit in the culture. Is that true?
Correct. Yes.
Is that true?
People leave. Right.
People leave people.
Not positions.
Okay. Tanya, jump in here a second and tell me about OMNIA. Yeah, and I'm asking a question I asked you last time.
Mm-hmm.
What positions do you have profiles to hire and promote?
Right. We have from the bookkeeper to the general manager warranty clerks, warranty administrators. We have sales, of course, F&I, but it's really the fixed operations that I don't think that enough of our dealerships or a lot of our clients really understand where that's your bread and butter. And so we run a lot of positions for sales, which is wonderful. And when we did our validation study last year, we had a specific validation piece that talked about what we said at Omnia is a successful salesperson. It was validated because we had salespeople take it. Then we had their sales manager say, is this a good salesperson? Yes or no. And universally, it came out that what we say is successful, which is the 1-3-5-7, assertive, gregarious, relational, quick pace, resilient type of individuals are successful in sales. And so that was validated. And so, when we are looking at the different positions, you want to make sure that you have the right people. We've all heard this, the right people in the right seats going in the right direction.
Would I be good in sales?
Of course you would. You are, but like when I'm talking to my clients, everybody has strengths and challenges. And so that's what I love about our reports. We talk about, yes, this person has a great personality for sales, but here are some of the things as a hiring manager you want to be on the lookout for. These are the things you want to interview for. These are the things that you want to help them. So when we talk about putting people in the right places and people leaving people, not positions, if we are motivating and engaging our team, you will be the right type of manager because they will.
So it can help you to counsel your people as well.
Exactly. We are not just a hiring tool. So when you are looking for your tech, or when you're looking for the service writer that's going to be the client facing and really helping you boost, the ticket, you want to make sure that you are, you're speaking their language. Is this someone that likes the public praise and kudos and the ticker tape parade when they've made a deal? Or is this somebody that is more engaged and motivated by you handing them a Post-it note saying, great job on the way you handled that customer and gave them a proactive solution. Thank you so much. Both people can sell and both people can do the job that you've assigned them to do. But if you are motivating them in the wrong way, that person may potentially leave because why is he always coming out, shaking my hand, kissing the babies because I did what my job told me I was supposed to do. Some people are not motivated by that public praise, and it's good to know that going in so you can manage them the way they need to be managed.
I set you up just now because I wanted to show off how many different positions you guys are just tuned in to the way car dealerships operate, what the position functions are. I mean, not just the job title, but the job description. You guys are totally tuned in. There are so many companies out there that have something, but it doesn't tune in. Like I took this test. What, Catherine, help me out. 30 years ago?
I think so. We're well into the teens, approaching the 20s.
30 years ago, I was at a dealership and they gave me the Omnia test, and it nailed me. I mean, it had things I thought were big secrets. They'll never catch me doing that. Well, they caught me. I mean, it was amazing. It'll show trends. It'll show traits. It'll show everything about a person's personality because you got professional interviewers that are trying to hide things in the interview. And you've got people that you're promoting that was a great salesperson, but a terrible sales manager if you went that direction. And Omnia is the best I have ever seen. My top clients are using this.
Right.
And if you're just hiring people because they can fog up a mirror and they have a pulse, then that's Heather, jump in here. I'm rambling.
No, I'm really glad of what you're talking about, especially when you just mentioned the factor of promotion. So one thing I want to say that came out clear in our study every year is that organizations aren't spending enough time focusing on internal promotion. We either keep people in the seat too long, and people leave if they don't have a chance to grow and develop. So I'm glad you're talking about, first of all, looking at promotional opportunities. But it's critical that when you promote someone, you do make sure they're fit for the next role. So often we'll make a great salesperson into a sales manager and they fail and they're miserable at it. They're not happy. Nobody's happy. So you really want to make sure they've got those skills and traits to actually lead, because leadership is all about other people's success instead of your success. So you've got to have that personality and that wiring as well, and be motivated by helping others see the light, helping others be
I'm
successful.
going to throw a curveball at you a second. There's a lot of people that watch this broadcast that are not car dealers. They are vendors. They are rentals and rentals. They are CDK. They
Right.
are big corporations that service car dealers. We've got a lot of peripheral industries watching these broadcasts. What do you have for those guys and women?
Well, the good news is our report is across industry, across size. So this is all relative. Of course, we like to talk about automotive when we're with you, Jim, and the nuances there.
How much can you customize is what I'm asking.
Okay, thank you for the direct, not just the direct hit down, so I can bat it out of the park here. We can customize everything. So first of all, we can customize your report. And I love this because we've talked about leaders and the importance of them and how people lead people. So when you're interviewing someone or you're looking at that promotion, we can actually customize the output of your report. You could have the supervisor and the individual take the report. You could have the CEO and the executive team all take the assessment, and then look at how well they meld together, or how well this new leader or new employee is going to fit. So we'll give you a team dynamics review of how well these traits are going to meld. Where might you have conflict? Where are you going to have these personality conflicts and clashes, which is, again, what can certainly undermine a culture. So that's important. It's good to know that customization is available. Also, time to talk.
This is my show, and I want to give the people something. I want to give them something. What can we do?
Well, we always are willing to let everyone try it for free the first time.
That's where I was headed.
So if you're not an OMNIA client and you have never tried it, we welcome you to take the assessment. Jim's usually having Naomi Viglas's name pass by. I can also share a link, but you can go right to our website, www.omniagroup.com, and click the try it button, and you'll get a free assessment. And then one of our experts will call you to debrief it, to give you your personalized results, share with you your traits, and share with you the factors that are important to consider. Now. Super. There's Naomi's name. So call Naomi, go to our website, either one, and we'll be happy to help you. Right now, people are there to help you out. So,
and tell them you saw it on the Jim Ziegler broadcast.
Exactly. Mention this broadcast and mention our friend Jim. So, but customization is another key thing, Jim. If I can just mention, we have specific industry benchmarks, and then we also can customize benchmarks, which is really important. So if you look at what are the most critical traits of any job, you can rely on our bank. We have hundreds of standard validated benchmarks, but then we can also just look at your top performers. Who is doing the job well right now?
You can benchmark your top performers.
Yes. So you can look at what are those standout traits and how do you make sure you're getting them in your next. Now,
the buzzword in the car business, I'm going to go back to Miss Devane here. You notice I've been real respectful since you jumped on me before the broadcast. Mrs. Devane. I'm messing with her. Okay. Before we got on the broadcast, we said something about AI. The buzzword around the car business is AI. Where does AI figure into things today?
Well, when you're thinking about hiring, AI is now playing a bigger part than it ever has before. One is the candidate can actually take your job description, put it in ChatGPT, put their resume in, and say, customize my resume to this particular job description. So if you're using any type of tool that kind of pulls out keywords, they're going to have all the keywords, and that makes their resume go to the top. And so now people are getting through that maybe didn't get through before because of the AI. So when we're interviewing them, it just helps to pull back that layer a little bit more, just because let me say this, I always say that the resume is a marketing slick. It's never who the person truly is until we verify that's who they truly are. And so that's what you do with the interview. One, the other thing you do is using an assessment tool like the Omnia group. We're going to talk about who this person naturally is. The assessment takes about 10 minutes to complete. And when you try it, you're going to be amazed at how it gets you dead to rights. The good, the bad, the ugly, it's in there. But just imagine how much power you have or how much knowledge you'll gain by understanding who you're bringing on before you bring them on.
My dealers swear by it.
Yes.
They absolutely wouldn't hire anyone that didn't take the assessment.
And I like that you said that didn't take the assessment. That's wonderful, because we're not saying that the Omnia is the end all be all in regards to this should be your sole deciding factor. But what it helps you go into that hiring with your eyes wide open, knowing where you're going to have to push this person or help develop this person. Maybe they're
Help
great.
develop. What a strong thing. I like that.
Yeah, because you have some people that are great in regards to being that more type of consultative individual type of communicator. So when they're talking about the automotives or the automobiles, or if they're on the service side, being a service writer, when they're talking about what needs to be done on the car, sometimes they can stick so far in that knowledge piece and just giving the facts, figures, data. But instead of, but they need to kind of move on to that little bit more relational type of communication style. Knowing that going in, it will help you understand what are you listening for when you're listening for how they're speaking with customers. Like, okay, this is a coaching point. This is a tip that I can give you to help bring your clients in or bring your customers in a little bit more. Or you could have somebody on the other side that is all about shaking the hands, kissing the babies, a very relational, gregarious type of communicator.
People still kiss babies.
Right. All right. I know I'm aging myself with that term. But when you have someone that's very relational in their style, they could be losing customers because customers feel like, oh, they're schmoozing, or they're just trying to sell me a bunch of wolf tickets. Another old phrase that my mom taught me. But understanding that. So when I have that type of person, then I know, okay, I need to make sure they have the knowledge, the data points, the facts, figures. So when they are talking to clients, they can build confidence in the client in regards to what they're talking about. Because sometimes you're losing sales or losing that ticket because the employee is not communicating to the customer the way they need to be communicated with. So if the employee understands their natural style, then they'll know how to adjust. If the hiring manager understands the employee's natural style, they'll know how to develop. And that's what the Omnia assessment can provide you. It can provide you that insight of information. And not only does it provide the natural innate traits, we've probably all experienced people that have embarrassed themselves and embarrassed the organization because of what they said. Utilizing the Omnia can help you understand, does this person have the potential to do that? And then you can start asking interview questions to see if this person was just having a temporary stress situation, or is this person going to put the lampshade on their head at the Christmas party? Understanding that type of information. I am just aging myself with all of but these are my reference points. I am my mother and father's child through and through.
Yeah.
She's saying something
she still talks in terms of prime the pump.
Okay, now that one is a little bit predate me. I don't do prime. So that was a little more. That one's not.
You're not priming the pump. You are rebooting the situation, right?
Correct.
Not priming the pump.
Right. No priming the pump.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Catherine. What were you going to say?
I was going to prime the pump because what you're getting at is judgment. And I think that's another trait that's so important. And we're very unique in this way that we do measure the person's judgment and not, do they have the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence to not make a fool of themselves at the Christmas party? one little
With a
mistake
lampshade on their head. Yeah.
propensity to do more. So,
Right.
and we do get at that as well, which is a very helpful, again, insight that the hiring leader and that manager can.
I got to go to one of the Omnia Group Christmas parties.
Right? I mean, because your brand is your bread and butter, and one bad experience with a customer can permeate throughout your whole city. Oh, don't go to them. They're shysters over there, or he was just selling me. He was selling me pipe dreams, and when it came back, when I went to the F&I guy, it all blew up. And so that's when you have to have a strong F&I guy to kind of bring it back in, because the salespeople can say one thing, but when somebody's getting ready to sign the piece of paper and you have your F&I guy in there, that's when you're really going to close the deal at that point. And so you want to make sure you have a strong F&I that can build confidence, but not come off as if they're just trying to bilk you for more money, because people have already signed the little piece of paper saying, yes, I'll take it for $30,000. And so now now we need to add on this, and this, which is wonderful, because that we want them to add that piece on, but we want to make sure that the way that F&I guy is communicating that, which is why we measure communication style on our assessment, is very important, because that's when you can lose a sale or maybe not get as much as you possibly could because of the way that F&I guy communicated that message, which also translates
not only hiring, but career development is
Absolutely
correct.
Exactly where we're heading here. To show people that this job is more than just a job. And Omnia, you guys, how many people have we tested? How many people have taken the profiles?
millions. We're actually reviewing that right now for some work that we're doing, but millions of people over our almost 40 years have taken it. We have clients across the globe, over 2,000 active ones right now. And many clients, and many of yours, just like you, Jim, who've been with us since the beginning. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was at Larry Lewis Chevrolet in Memphis, Tennessee. And I took that test, and I said, he called Omnia, and you were in your infancy at the time. And he said, I want everybody to profile Jim Ziegler. And that's where our relationship started, because you were profiling me, and then you started profiling other people, and then you expanded to other people that are, and it just grew and grew and grew. You just took over the auto industry. There is no assessment, no profile that I would ever recommend to what we're experiencing here. Omnia Group. Where are you? In Clearwater, Tampa?
We're based in Tampa, Florida. Yeah,
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Like I said, serving people all over the world.
We got thunderstorms here in Atlanta right now. So,
Oh.
Mrs. Devane was rubbing it in about your good weather.
Yes, yeah. And that's why he tried to rub me back. But you have to wake up pretty early to get me, Jim. No, I'm just
I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not gonna prime the pump.
Right. But to kind of take it back to the positions, as you all were talking about the years and how we have done, business throughout the years. I remember during 2020, and we all know kind of what happened then and how the world kind of changed. A lot of our automotive clients, because people couldn't come into the dealership as well, we really built out our BDC where, and the internet type of sales as well. So we have a lot of, positions in regards to that. So if you do have internet sales or that whole portion of the business in 2020, we did see.
I mean, I couldn't imagine any other company in your business even mentioning the BDC, much less having the profiles to hire the right people.
Mm-hmm. If we really built it out during that, and people really started. You couldn't go into the dealership, but we still have to make money, the dealership as well as us. So we try to keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening and trying to, beat before it becomes a trend. We want to make the trend is really what we try to do here, and so we do try to stay ahead.
On that note, one of the other things we've done, and again, we tend to continue to see across our client base, is that work expectations are changing, right? We've got to stay focused on building a culture, building an organization where people want to be, where they want, building a company that everyone loves working for. And one of the elements of that is creating a culture of a flexible work environment where we have shared schedules or work share, a flexible schedule, or maybe that remote hybrid, which has certainly come about in, since the pandemic. We're seeing much more hybrid work environments. So one of the other things we're looking at when we assess is, what is this position's workday look like? Are they predominantly remote? Are they in an office setting? Or are they hybrid? So again, take into consideration with that personality trait, what are they going to need from a coaching and development and accountability perspective?
Because a lot of things are changing in the car business. The paradigm shifted. I've had to reinvent myself as a trainer, consultant, as as a professional speaker. I've had to reinvent myself so many times because the paradigm keeps shifting, and it's a complete reversal of what was before.
Yeah, how many times were you on a plane and then speaking to a live audience doing this versus today? That has probably flipped, and you're doing more of things like this.
This platform right here.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Before the NADA convention, the National Automobile Dealers Convention, I put a little post on LinkedIn that I would do a 30-minute interview for $3,500. And I got 4 of them right away.
Nice.
I mean, four of them signed up right away. And so everybody is virtual today. And a lot of dealerships are communicating with customers virtually.
Yep. Yes. And talking about that technology, just the cars, when you talk about having to keep up with the trends now, you remember how you used to have a technician, what technicians have to know now is so different than what they had to know, when I was growing up, when I first had my Chevy Nova, 1976 Chevy Nova.
Wait a second, you're going to tell me you pulled the engine out on the tree limb?
No, I wrecked it before an engine could get pulled out. But yes, my first car was a 76 Chevy Nova. And, they used to call them shade tree mechanics and things like that. But cars have become more advanced. Now the electric cars don't even have an engine, like it's battery and all of the wires and things like that. So how the industry has changed is so fascinating and so interesting. So everybody that's vendors are dealing with the automotive industry has to keep up and change as well, because
that's the business opportunity. And if you're a vendor and you're watching this broadcast, think about how you can communicate with the car dealers better if you get involved with OMNIA behavioral assessments.
Correct. I mean, that you're bringing out your best people. When they're going out and talking to the different automotive companies, knowing that you have your best foot forward, that's the way you're going to get deals, and they're going to come back with tickets and closes and not just expenses. Well, yeah, I took the group out for drinks. Okay, that's wonderful. I paid that American Express bill, but where is the close? And that's what OMNIA is going to help you with. OMNIA is going to let you know, is this person more of a networker where they're a public and a professional friend maker and not a deal closer, and all they are turning in are receipts? Or maybe you have people that are they stay in prep mode. I'm going to make this list. This is, I'm going to go out to this section. I have my regions. I have it mapped out. This is what I'm going to do. And they never
do it.
Right. They stay in prep mode. I know people can be like, yep, I've had some.
They spend their whole life getting ready to get ready.
Yeah. OMNIA is going to let you know that ahead of time, so you can be on the lookout, because we all want to make sure that we know who we hired before that 91st day hits. So in that first, 1 through 90 is so important for us to understand, is this person going to work out? So knowing what to be on the lookout for in that first 90 days, so you don't go over to the 91st, is very important. And that's what OMNIA is going to help you with. It's going to help you with team cohesion, having a team around you, having a team that enjoys working with each other, respects the strengths and challenges that the team is bringing. That's going to help people stay with you. You know, when you're looking at like what are some of the fears that you have, you know, when bringing people on, it's one, you know, poor company reputation. We talked about that in regards to their judgment. We talked about, you know, getting the most bang for your buck. There's another little ism for you. But you know, you can have somebody that's decent in sales, but if you had somebody that was dynamic in sales, they're going to add on that gap coverage. They're going to add on the let's go ahead and prepay for the oil changes. They're going to get those added pieces, and that's where your money is. Okay, we sold the car, but now the added pieces are those additional little pieces that our F&I guy gets and what our service writers get. That's where your money's going to be, and you want to make sure you have people in those positions that can talk the talk and walk the walk and make people believe what they're saying.
Because you know there are people that are suited to be client advisor service writers. There are people that are sales oriented, like myself. They're aggressive. They're amiable, affable. They've got a lot of traits that you know. But sometimes, like my son is a tech. My son works in dealerships turning wrenches. He hired on as a car salesman one time because he wanted to follow me. He sold 18 cars that month and quit because it wasn't where his head was.
Yeah, he didn't like doing it. Yeah. And that's wonderful that he found something, hopefully, that he is enjoying, because that tech job is just as important, and putting somebody in the role that really enjoys doing that all day long is what you're really looking for here. It's about your natural resting space. How are you when you're out with friends having drinks? What's your real self? Because that's what you want to be able to bring to work every day. And you want to
real
match
self
whatever
wasn't
you have
a
to
car
do.
salesman. His
Right.
real self was, and you can force the paradigm.
You
There was
can.
back in my hippie days, there was a book, Barry Stevens, Don't Push the River.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember that. That's back when I was hanging out with Swami Mektananda. Different days. But anyway, yeah, don't push the river. I mean,
Right.
and that applies so much to what you're doing.
Well, and
You
it's
know,
such a good point, because you can develop skills you can learn to do things that you didn't know how to do. You can force yourself to be able to do things. I'm sure he wasn't a bad car salesperson.
it was
He's,
great.
yeah, at 18 in the first month is pretty incredible, I would think.
Yeah.
But if he didn't like it, it's like trying to write with your other hand that's not your dominant hand. You can do it. You can get better at it if you do it all day long for days on end, but you're always going to be exhausted. It's
He
not
was
gonna
in
be
my
what you did at
classes
first.
since he was a child.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, I
So
used
he
to
knew the
say
skills. He knew how to do it.
he
He
knew
just
how to do
wasn't
it.
wired for it. It wasn't what he wanted to
You
do.
got it. And Omnia can help with that.
Absolutely. You know, you think about employment and employee engagement stats are another thing we look at constantly. And I just hate that they never get better. You know, only 33% of employees today are actively engaged, meaning they get up every day and they love what they're doing and they want to make themselves the best they can be, and they want to help their company be the best they can be. Only 33% of probably all your listeners' employees are those
Oh,
people.
they're not
The rest,
motivated.
the rest don't care or could be easily swayed. They may be half in, half out, and can be pulled down or lifted up. So the best way to lift somebody up to start is to give them a job they love, and then a leader they love doing it with.
You know, no, Heather, I look at my personality, and my sister was a top real estate agent in the whole state of North Carolina. She was incredible. I'm a salesperson. You know, we were raised that way. I used to stand in front of the mirror before I went to work, and I put on my tie and I said, "By God, somebody gonna pay for this."
Yeah.
You know,
That's
every day. It's the mindset.
Yeah.
Tell me how we use the talent assessments. How do we find out what they're good at if they don't know?
Well, clearly the assessment is what's going to tell you. So it is they are your natural traits and tendencies that are being measured. And it is a good point, because they may not even be being tapped into yet if you haven't had the opportunity. So that invaluable report is going to give the hiring leader that insight. And then you're going to turn around and run it for the person once you hire them, so they get self-awareness. And it's going to say, look, you've been hired to be in a sales position. Here are the things that are going to come very natural to you. And here are the things that you may struggle with. Here's some things you could do to develop yourself. And then here are some tips for the leader to know how to develop you, how to coach you, and what may motivate or demotivate you.
Where my head was with that question. I have
I
somebody.
didn't hit a ball down the field then again, did I?
I'm teeing you up. I am teeing you up. I mean, this is not even a good pitch. I mean, I'm putting a T-ball. You got the ball on a stick right there. You know, so
if my family was listening, they'd tell you I don't have very good hand-eye coordination, Jim. Let's keep going.
what I was thinking about was somebody that applies for a sales job. OMNIA says, don't hire them for a sales job, but offer them something else.
Well, let me say this. We will never say don't hire. So I just want to make sure we get that, because we can do anything that we want to do. It's just what are your natural traits best suited for. But I think where you might be going, Jim, is that with OMNIA, you can select, let's say you can select all the positions you have in your dealership, and we're going to return the top 3 positions they're best suited for. And you've only been charged for 1 report, but you're getting 3 reports. So that's how you can do that. So we have this thing.
Yes, exactly.
So you can see how this person looks in many different roles. Also, what's beneficial that way as well is when you're looking at career pathing. So why do people leave? Because they didn't feel like they could get advancement. You can go ahead and career path this person initially. So you can kind of see, is this person sales and then move over to F&I, or maybe they move into a different position. Maybe they start moving into management or sales management and things like that. So you can have all of that information at your fingertips. And so then that's going to help you, again, develop and retain the individual, because now we're putting them on a path. So this is not just a one job, you know, like I'm just here for a minute and I'm going to leave. But if you start building and making people create these tadpoles or touch points, like Heather likes to say, to the organization, you're going to be able to retain them, especially when they're good.
Exactly. Because what I'm picturing, and I have seen this I've been in 1,000 dealerships. I've seen a lot. I'm talking experiential observation, not something I think or read in a book. I have seen so many people promote the wrong person to sales manager. They fail and they leave the company. You took your best salesperson and they left you because you didn't test before you offered the position.
Right. It's about testing as well as talking, but having the assessment to know, is this even something that, you know, this person is a naturally fit for? It's going to help you get into those conversations. And Heather touched on it a second ago in regards to our development report. So let's say I have this dynamic salesperson and they want to move into leadership. Let's run the leadership development report. That's going to help the hiring manager with their talking points. It provides an action plan. It helps you get into the conversations about what their challenges are, because sometimes that can be an uncomfortable conversation to tell this person, well, these are your weaker areas. I always say, let the OMNIA open up the door to that conversation for you, and then you both can follow through that door and walk through that door and start building upon what.
Do you show people their profiles? Do you show them their assessments?
Yes, the development reports. I want to be very clear. We have a scored report that is specifically for the hiring managers to find out, you know, the strengths, challenges, and how the person rates. And it's a more direct, in your face, not really in your face, because we still use great language, but it is a more directly written report, the scored report. And then we have our development report. The message is what the message is, but we use softer language to communicate the message because we know the person is going to read it. And it should not be a demotivating event. It should be something that is motivating and engaging for this person, because now they're gaining self-awareness and the hiring manager is gaining tips and strategies to help develop and retain this person. So yes, we have two types of reports. Go ahead, Heather. Sorry.
No, I just have to say, because you know how lucky OMNIA clients are, and this is again where we're unique, is those reports. One's written directly for the hiring leader. We're going to tell you how well that person fits with the profile of that job. The other one, again, is for that conversation you want to have with the person once you've hired them or you're thinking about promoting them. That talk you need to have, right? About why do you want to be a leader? The beautiful thing about OMNIA is you get to talk to Tanya or a member of her team anytime you want to.
Wait a minute. You get to
unlimited service.
You get to talk to her directly?
Directly. Live people.
But she's a big shot.
She is a big shot. And I'm telling you, no one works harder than Tanya and the people on her team. And as soon as we wrapped up, if you were calling her now, you wouldn't get her because she's here. But I promise you, you would be talking to her by the end of the day, or you'd be have an appointment on her calendar tomorrow. So we have live people who talk to you through these reports, helping you with those conversations.
So you're not getting an AI.
No bots at OMNIA.
No bots whatsoever.
No.
Tanya, we have covered a lot of ground here. What have we not told people?
Let's see, what haven't we told people? We have covered a lot of ground, Jim. Heather, do you have some?
I look down at my things.
Her turn's next.
We have really covered a lot. I mean, I know when I'm talking to clients, their biggest fears is about turnover and, the interviewee's experience or the candidate's experience. They don't want to add time to that because, when you have a great candidate, you want it to, you want to grab them quickly. Our assessment takes less than 10 minutes. It's not a big lift in regards to what you add to your hiring process. When we talk about high turnover due to poor hires, understanding what you're getting before you bring them on is the biggest deterrent from hiring somebody that doesn't work out. I know we have all gone with our gut, and sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. And it's those times that doesn't where if you had the assessment, you would have just saved yourself a lot of time and money, because we've all heard the stats of how much it costs, when we have to replace people. And you think about that cost, but also think about the brand awareness. If I am using, if I go to my Chevrolet dealership and every time I go, I'm at the service bay and my salesperson doesn't come there, I'm like, what's happening here? Like, maybe did I make a bad decision and maybe I'm going to go someplace else? So having continuity is also a cost that sometimes we don't think about when we talk about what is a bad hire costing us. So to add that continuity, so every time I go to the service bay for my oil change that my F&I guy made me prepay for, and my salesperson comes over and says hello, that adds brand awareness, that keeps me happy as a customer, and that's going to make me come back when I want to trade in my car.
Because then you put in the process where the service writer informs the salesperson.
Yes.
Or the CRM tells them, because the CRM is programmed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that can happen.
Yes, and that's what you want. Or like I had to take my car in to the Ford dealership, and I didn't buy it there. It's an older car, and to me, I was thinking this would have been a great opportunity because my car is old. Like, are you looking at, are you interested? Just to have somebody else come, kind of have a conversation probably would have been a nice little thing. But, you just start thinking about your whole business and the people that you have, that's talking to customers, and understanding their style is just so important. And that's what the OMNIA is going to help you do.
Heather, what have we not told people that is important to know about OMNIA behavioral assessments?
I think we've covered the ground here for sure. I think it's just a reminder that this is one element of the entire process. People have gotten very good at fooling themselves and fooling hiring leaders that they can be fit for the job when they're not. And you want to use science and data to make sure you really know the traits of that individual so that they're happy. They love doing what they're doing day in and day out. They give their all, and you keep them.
Dealers, general managers, vendor executives, the number is on the screen. The woman's name is Naomi Viglis. Tell her that we said to arrange a free assessment. It costs nothing to test drive it and see how good this is. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And get to experience an expert debriefing it with you, so you know what it's going to be like
So
to
the
engage with
expert will
Omnia.
debrief you on the assessment you just took.
Correct. And
Correct.
talk you through your profile and all the elements that can help you enjoy your life and your work much more.
Right.
Call Naomi. The screen. You can pause the screen anytime. You know, technology is good. Everybody but Heather's got it dialed in.
Right.
Ouch.
Wave goodbye to the audience, guys.